Hey there everybody, it is Antnie here, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 PlayStation portable games, or also known as the PSP. I have a stack of 11 games right here, and I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, this is my top 10, and it's kind of in order, so like the bottom one is definitely my most favorite, but some of them, on a given day, I might switch them up between whatever spot they're in. It's not like a set in stone, my top 10, but it's just generally what my top games are. So first up, I'll just count this in at number 10, and that is Parappa the Rapper. This one is still sealed. I did have an opened one at one point for the PSP, and I did play it a lot on the PlayStation 1 when that was out, when that was popular at least. And the PSP version is just awesome. I don't know why this one is sealed, but if I ever get that itch to go play some more Parappa the Rapper, I will just open this up and give it a play. But yeah, it's a great game. If you never played it on the PS1, go play this, and if you're a fan of the PlayStation 1 version, you need to get that. Next up is Burnout. I'm a big racing fan, or not a big racing fan, but I'm a big fan of the Burnout series. I just love how they play, like arcadey, crashing, like destruction kind of game, and having one on the PSP was awesome. I played this, probably one of the most played games I have on the system, because it was just so much fun. Next up is I guess this would be number 8. So, me and my Katamari. Some of you might know, but I'm a pretty big fan of Katamari, and I just love the way that the games play, the feeling and the atmosphere, and the just like the calming, just rolling the world up until it's nothing left almost. But yeah, so for the PSP one, the biggest problem with this is the controls, and I'm sure most of you know that by now, that the controls on this are just, it's pretty bad, because Katamari really does need 2 analog sticks to work very efficiently. So having only one on the PSP was kind of a letdown. And if you're new to the Katamari series, I would say don't start off with this. I would say go with maybe like the 360 version, or like maybe the PS2, one of the PS2 ones. But don't go to this one first, because you're probably going to get a bad taste. You're going to think the controls are bad, and you're not going to enjoy it. But if you're a fan of Katamari, you got to go with this. Alright, next up at number 7 is Infected. Most people probably don't think of this as like an amazingly good game or anything, but I had a lot of fun playing it. And this was one of the earlier games I got with the PSP. I don't remember when this came out. 2005, so it's probably one of the earlier ones. And I remember this was like one of the few games I had, and I played this a ton. It was just, I just kept playing the same levels over and over. It was a lot of fun shooting up zombies and or infected, whatever they're called in this. But it was really fun. Next up is probably my favorite fighting game on the system, and that is Darkstalkers. This one is, it's just so sweet. The art style, it looks so good on the system, and if you have other people to play against, this is probably the best fighting game to go to. The characters are just so vivid, and they pop so well on the screen, so go get this if you're a fighting fan. Next up is Wipeout Pulse. I couldn't decide between Pure or Pulse, but I went with Pulse just because it has it's a little better, it's a little improved over Pure, and if you're going to choose, you have to choose between the two. I mean, they're both pretty cheap now, but if you have to choose between one of them, I would say go with Pulse. It's a little better than Pure. Next up is the two that I have together, and I guess I could have done this with Wipeout as well, but Loco Roco 1 and 2, they're both awesome, awesome games, and you need to get both. If you have the system, just get both of these. I should have just brought out both Wipeouts as well, but Loco Roco is just awesome. If you don't know, it's like a little game where you, not a little game, but it's a game where you like roll around this level, and you can like separate your little guys, and let's see if I can show you on the back here. So you can like separate them into smaller pieces to get through different parts of the level, and you can collect more and all that kind of stuff. It's a really fun game, and I put a lot of time into the first Loco Roco. Next up is this. I guess this is number 3, and that is Echochrome, my favorite puzzle game. Oh no, it's not my favorite puzzle game, but it is my favorite import game that I have. Because this is the only game I've imported for the system, and it's nice because everything is in English in the game, and the dialogue is in English, the text, so you have no worries with that. And if you don't know, this is kind of like a it's like a mind messing game where you have to trick yourself, you have to trick the game into not seeing a part of the screen, so that it then is like it's non-existent. So it's hard to explain. just watch some videos on YouTube, and you'll get an idea of it. And if you haven't played Echochrome before, give it a try. It is very interesting and unique. Number 2 is God of War. I haven't played the second God of War on the PSP, but I have played this one, and it is awesome. It's basically the PlayStation 2 versions on this PSP. I mean, the graphics aren't as good as the PS2 ones, but it's basically the same thing. It has got the huge boss battles, and it's a pretty beefy game for this little system. It really pushes the system, and the length of it isn't very long, but the amount of fun you'll have in that short amount of time is definitely worth it. So go get God of War for the PSP. And lastly, my favorite game for the system is also, I believe this was my first game I got with the system as well, and that is Luminous. This is the best puzzle game. It's probably my favorite puzzle game ever. Now that I think about it, I'm thinking about some of my other favorite puzzle games, and this is probably my favorite puzzle game of all time. The second one is not as good as the first. It is still very good for the puzzling, but what makes Luminous so great is the culmination of the puzzling and the music, and this is just awesome. If you have headphones, play this with headphones, blast it, and it is awesome. I really want to get the PS Vita version of Luminous. I just haven't got around to it. So I'm going to be picking that up pretty soon now that I'm getting in this Luminous feel right now. And yeah, you got to give Luminous a try. It was one of the launch games, and it's probably one of the best games on the PSP. So there you guys go. That is like my rough top 10. I'm going to be getting a lot more PSP games in the coming weeks with GameStop doing the buy 2 get 1 free. But yeah, that's my collection. I plan on getting some of the more the more pricey games, the ones that stay at higher prices but now are dropping. Like I want to get like the Fat Princess, the Assassin's Creed. There's a few RPGs I want to get on the system. Even though I'm not too big of an RPG player, there's a few that I want to get. So yeah, that is my top 10. Please leave in the comments below, guys, some of your favorite PSP games and maybe ones that you want to recommend me to get. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.